Hello, humans. 2020, eh? Ooh, what a year, right? When we were planning out 2020, my minions told me, Boss, that's too much. You can't possibly throw that much at the puny humans in 1 year. To which I replied, First off, don't tell me what I can or can't do. I am literally dying. I can do whatever the f I want. And secondly, guys, things are just too boring right now on Earth. Just see what's happening down there. It's a proper snooze fest. Oh, look, a prolonged crisis of global capitalism. Nobody gives a f. And what's that? Society's slow descent into cruelty and barbarism brought on by aforementioned economic crisis? Boring. Oh, and what do we have here? Climate change. Oh my god, puny humans are going to die, blah blah blah. I don't care, it's so boring. There's no urgency to any of this stuff, no excitement. It's just bland and depressing. But if we throw a global pandemic into the mix, things could get really interesting. And that was a year ago, and looking back, I have to say, not even in my wildest dreams did I think I'd have so much fun. Truth is, I'm not even sad the year is coming to an end, because guess what? We have so much great stuff planned for 2021. We're going to really build upon what we started here in 2020 and lean into the whole end of the world vibe. It's going to be awesome, which is why today I've got a little sneak preview of some of the great things we've planned for you in 2021. See you next year, guys, and have a blast. I know I will. COVID-19 was not the only thing the world was unaware of before 2020. Another creature whose existence was revealed to middle-class Indians only when the country went into lockdown this year were the migrants. Seeming to appear from nowhere, they fled India's urban centers and marched to their homes in the hinterland. Some people saw in their desperate reverse migration the failure of an economic system which exploited the precarity of their existence and sustained it. Others saw in their eyes a justified distrust of the state machinery, while still others pointed to the apathy of the middle classes, who, after getting over the initial surprise of the exodus, got busy doing their Thali Thali programs. But none of these morons saw what a few really smart creative types saw as this colossal human tragedy unfolded. They saw in it the idea for India's biggest reality show of 2021. That's right, coming to all major streaming platforms in 2021, a reality show which will test the limits of a dozen D-list celebrities as they suffer through the migrant experience, walking 1,000 kilometers, surviving only on biscuits and bottled water, getting thrashed by the police, getting sprayed with disinfectant, and many more torturous tasks in the greatest televised battle for survival. Who will perish? Who will be the last person standing? Find out in Who Wants to Be a Migrant? Coming soon, 2021. In order to stop the alarming trend of large numbers of citizens being misled and deluded into protesting against the policies of the government, the My Friend Sanjay app will be automatically downloaded into every phone in the country sometime next year. Authorized by Parliament under the Unlawful Thought Prevention Act 2021, the app is named after the character Sanjay from who possessed the gift of divine sight and could see and hear anyone, anywhere. Similarly, the app will be the eyes and ears of the government to ensure that citizens that are thinking negative thoughts about the government are stopped before they infect their fellow citizens with the same unlawful thoughts. While awarding the contract to develop the app to Jio platforms, the government will announce that all the data collected from the app will be saved on Jio servers. Of course, there will be no protests in response to that because there will be no one to mislead innocent and patriotic citizens with the wrong kinds of thoughts. First phase results of the 5th edition of the National Family Health Survey threw up some rather depressing facts. We found out that in the last 5 years, the number of malnourished children in several Indian states either remained the same or actually increased. Of particular concern is the increase in the number of children suffering from stunting, that is, children that have lower than expected height for their age. Because unlike other parameters which measure malnutrition, stunting represents chronic malnutrition and is thus a reflection of long-term trends. Faced with these grim figures, the country's premier think tank, the Niti Aayog, will obviously spring into action. After weeks of intense deliberation among its brightest minds, it will release a report titled Atmanirbhar Balak, leveraging our children's smallness to build a better Bharat. The report will argue that instead of considering the growing number of stunted children a blot on the nation's development strategy, we must leverage their shorter heights and lower weights to attract foreign investors. The ILO estimated that in 2016, 150 million children around the world were engaged in child labor. This indicates that the market demand for child labor is massive, and further, that Indian children with their malnourished bodies and short stature will give India a massive edge in attracting investment in sectors that require workers to maneuver in tiny constricted spaces such as mining, waste management, industrial air conditioning, etc. Any job that is done in a shaft, a pipe or a vent, Indian children can do with greater efficiency, skill and nimbleness. The report also states that since the data for this set of NFHS results was collected pre-COVID and the economic devastation wrought by the lockdown is bound to worsen the nutritional condition of adults as well as children, future surveys are bound to show that 5-year-olds in 2025 will be even smaller than 5-year-olds today. This provides an unprecedented job creation opportunity for India, as not only will our children require lesser workspace, their bodies will have adjusted to survive on far less food than children in other countries, and hence they can sustain themselves on a much lower wage. The report concludes with a stirring passage exhorting the country to get rid of its squeamishness regarding child labor and understand that the dream of an Atmanirbhar Bharat will remain a dream if hundreds of millions of our citizens sit idly by in schools benefiting from the labor of others. By giving children the right to work, the government will ensure that even the smallest, weakest, most malnourished of us can play a crucial role in nation building. Only when every child is Atmanirbhar can the nation be too. Wow, so moving. "2020 was a difficult year for everyone, and that of course means a golden opportunity for Bollywood to cash in on the country's collective emotional trauma. Undoubtedly, the best man for the job is Akshay Kumar, who will produce and star in the blockbuster action thriller Corona Khiladi. The film will see Akshay Kumar play an honest, upright, patriotic Indian who uncovers a ghastly conspiracy hatched by China, Pakistan, their Islamo-communist jihadist collaborators to stop India from discovering the world's first COVID vaccine with a 100% success rate. Only one man can stop this axis of evil and defeat COVID, do some comedy and romance and some song and dance, and help everyone feel good about themselves again, pat themselves on the back for the great job India did dealing with the pandemic, forgetting that their personal contribution was sitting at home watching India TV and sending 2 million WhatsApp forwards a day, and the people who actually worked through the pandemic are either dead or suffering immensely. But due to these reasons, Corona Khiladi will be the biggest blockbuster of 2021, single-handedly raising India's GDP by 3 percentage points, and Akshay Kumar will finally be awarded the Bharat Ratna he totally deserves. At last we arrive at the main event. Okay, so what's going to happen is that a giant black hole is going to teleport right next to your planet, right? And it's going to suck the entire planet in, just rip apart matter, totally obliterate it. And the entire planet and all the things living on it are totally broken down into atoms, and sucked into this infinite void of nothingness for eternity. It's going to be spectacular. Alright, I'm messing with you. There's not going to be any black holes popping up next year. It's too much of a hassle, really. I mean, the logistics of pulling that off are so much work. I honestly can't be bothered. And I've already worked too much this year. The pandemic wasn't easy to get done, So, for the most part, I'm just going to sit back, relax, and just enjoy you guys run around down there, fucking everything up, slowly making things worse for yourselves. Screwing the environment, impoverishing billions to enrich a few, handing over control of everything in society to powerful nation states and multinational corporations, and then letting dull psychopaths run them. I have to say, that's a brilliant strategy for social disintegration and the end of civilization. You guys don't need a black hole or an asteroid because you are already in the apocalypse. Just a really, really, really boring and slow apocalypse. There's no great moment of reckoning, no end of days, no excitement, not even the sweet relief of death. Just the world staying the same, but getting slightly shittier, slightly dumber, and slightly more cruel at the same time. So, good luck with that.